one of the earliest and most important companies transforming augmented reality for the business world today. Peggy, it is so wonderful for you to be here. Thanks so much for joining.
Thank you, Nicole. It's great to be here.
So to kick things off, can you explain in layman's terms why we're seeing so much excitement and investment in the metaverse space today?
Well, I think it's a couple of things. One is the technology is finally being realized. It's here, it's available now. And I think the second thing is we couldn't have been handed a bigger catalyst than the pandemic.
Right.
And these technologies, AR and VR, solve for what the pandemic was looking for: remote working tools, what to do with a distributed workforce, how do we continue to work in an environment like that. And I think even post-pandemic, that will continue. We'll have hybrid working environments, and these technologies can fill in that gap.
Yeah, we've seen so much transformation in the working environment due to the pandemic, and it's only going to become more accelerated from here. And so much of the conversation around AR and VR and the metaverse is focused around consumer applications, but what do these technologies do for businesses? And especially, what role does Magic Leap look to play?
Well, I think it's important to note that there is a lot of excitement out there right now, and much of it is VR. I actually think the true promise of the metaverse comes with augmented reality. So with VR, you put a headset on and you enter a virtual world, but your mobility is limited because you can't see your physical world. With AR, you have a heads-up experience. You still see your physical world in front of you, but digital content can be overlaid in that world. So that's, I think, that where we're heading, and where you'll see things consumer but also enterprise application. That's a world that enterprise can really leverage. When you can put digital content that you can interact with, you can modify, you can annotate, you can take that content and send it into your existing IT infrastructure. That's what businesses can leverage for solutions that they need right now.
Absolutely, that's such an important point. And given the incredible implications and applications for companies, I'm wondering, what is the missing link in terms of technology that we need in order to realize all the full possibilities?
Well, I think we're just now seeing what devices can do, and if users don't see value in this technology, if it's just an innovative thing, it's not going to go anywhere. So we are just now able to show real value in these technologies, which has been the missing link. So for Magic Leap, we have built our second generation product to be 100% focused on the enterprise. What does the enterprise need? They need a device that you can wear all day, that's comfortable. They need a large field of view. That's, if you will, the canvas that you can put digital content on in front of your eyes. The bigger, the better. And so we've taken that feedback and converged it all into our next generation device. You need to see text legibly. If you want to put up screens, you need to be able to read those screens. The color uniformity has to be there. So those are the things that will bring to life the solutions that businesses are looking for.
That is incredible, and it's the new and improved Magic Leap 2 here. And there's been such a huge slate of recent launch announcements for AR devices, all the way from big tech companies, all the way down to innovative startups. And for those of us in the business world that are just wrapping our heads around this, can you tell us in layman's terms, what is the difference between a product like Magic Leap 2 and all of the other devices that are crowding the market? And what are some of the technical differences that really matter to business outcomes?
So Magic Leap 2 will be the most immersive AR experience that you can get in a headset. And basically, there are a lot of devices that are coming out. You see a lot of those announcements. Many of those serve maybe a single purpose. They might be more focused on consumer. They might do a single application in enterprise. Many are heads-up displays, which are useful in their own right. You might have a simple display in the corner of your field of view. But what we're talking about with this next generation product is a fully immersive world where I can set digital content on the table here, I look away and I look back and it's still there. And then I can take that content and I can modify and expand it in front of my eyes. I might be working on a design of a car with you, and you might be in a different area of the world, and we're both working on the same virtual design of the car in front of our eyes, and we can both annotate it. That's the real power of augmented reality.
Wow, so many great use cases here. And how are businesses using AR today, and what are some of the practical ways they're looking to leverage it in the near future? And what have you been hearing from those in the business world that are leading the way in adoption?
So businesses today are using it in a variety of ways, largely training. Any sort of training just comes to life when you can train seeing 3D images versus the flat 2D screens that we have in front of us. Another very interesting aspect is this idea of remote assistance. So you might be an expert on a machine that I'm standing in front of trying to fix, but you live a continent away. I can remotely call you in, you can see what I see, and walk me through the fix of that machine. Where today, I might have to wait for you to fly in to see, to help me with that. And then just the idea of 3D visualization, anything you can understand better if you can visualize it in 3D. One of our customers, Senti-R, they do placement of heart catheters ahead of surgery. And right now, the solution is done 2D. So you have a 2D screen in front of you, and you navigate the catheter into the heart ahead of surgery. They've built on Magic Leap their product, which the heart becomes a 3D image in front of them. It just makes navigation so much more accurate, more efficient. And so really the promise in healthcare, I believe, is it will dramatically change how it's delivered, because it's just the experience comes to life more if you can visualize things in 3D, which is what these devices allow you to do.
That is so exciting. And so let's take a step back from enterprise for just a second, and let's talk about the journey of Magic Leap. And so how has it been for Magic Leap to operate in such a competitive landscape where big tech companies are investing massive amounts in new AR devices? And how is that competition driving innovation in the space, and what has it meant for your focus?
Well, for one, all we do at Magic Leap is augmented reality. We build a headset that allows you to see digital content in your physical world. We're not building anything else. We're not trying to sell you cloud. We're cloud agnostic. We're not selling advertising. We're just delivering a solution to the market that's useful and usable. So, and the way that we can compete is we partner. So we partner with third-party ISVs, for instance, who've built solutions for a 2D world, and they want to see more value by bringing those solutions to our platform. And so we're working on building an ecosystem of enterprise developers and ISVs who can build on our platform and deliver that value to our customers.
Wow. And so where is this metaverse movement going from here, especially when it comes to AR? And how is the industry going to evolve over the next months and years?
Well, our initial focus are on just a handful of industries in enterprise, and those are healthcare, public sector, and manufacturing. These are largely industries that are already used to having something on their eyes. In healthcare, the doctors may have a magnifying surgery. Manufacturing workers might have safety glasses on. Defense are used to wearing goggles. Public sector. So these are the industries we're focused on the earliest. And the types of customers that we've been working with, for instance, Ericsson does a very innovative solution using the device to augment what's called a Gemba walk. That's a Japanese procedure in manufacturing facilities where the manager walks around and looks for efficiencies. So if you put the device on, the manager can now walk around and see that machines are needing maintenance over here, and this machine's offline, and the statistics of this machine look like it may be nearing the end of life. And so it augments the ability for the manager to keep their factory running smoothly and efficiently. And in healthcare, we're seeing things like we have a customer, Brain Lab, who develops a solution that brings our brain's images into a 3D version. So ahead of surgeries, they can train doctors on the surgical pathways that they'll be taking. So just a number of useful, innovative solutions right here, right now, with the product in its current format. Going forward, though, that's a good question. I like to think of it as very similar to the early days of mobile phones. So they were a bit big, they were costly, but they served a purpose. They allowed enterprise, for instance, if your workforce was traveling salespeople and they had to call back to the office, previously they would have to find a parking spot and then a phone booth and make that phone call. Well, a mobile phone in their hands gave them time back, and that was real value. There was real return on investment for those companies. That's the stage that we're in with augmented reality. Over time, the device will get smaller and lighter. In fact, our second generation device is half the weight of the first one. It's about 20% smaller. And that is the trajectory that mobile phones took as well. They were very big, and then they came down the slope to now we have them in our pocket. The exact same thing will happen in augmented reality. As the silicon integrates further, the componentry starts to take less and less space, and really the technology matures even more. Then we'll be at the point where we can get this very immersive augmented reality in a device like the glasses that you're wearing.
That is fascinating, and there's so much to look forward to. And they're saying that the future is already here. It's just not evenly distributed. And so the future has to come first from somewhere. What industry is going to be the first to meet the future in terms of AR?
Well, I think it is those industries. Healthcare, I think, will forever be changed. We are working on a device, our next generation device, that allows you to bring the headset into the operating room. So the surgeon can now have the headset on, see the patient, and see any number of screens, virtual screens, that they can see the images of their anatomy, what they're getting ready to operate on. It's going to completely change how healthcare gets delivered. But the other thing we've done is with our next gen product, we have the ability to dim the light around you. So augmented reality is all about having a light field in front of your eyes. You're tricking your eyes into seeing digital content. But for surgeons, they've asked for the ability to take the bright lights of the operating room down so they can look at just perhaps the knee that they're operating on. So we can now dynamically dim that and then bring it back out again, almost to the effect of going between AR and VR. And that's a feature set that will be super powerful in those sorts of situations.
You're optimizing dynamic working environments specifically for healthcare, and we can't wait to see more to come. And since healthcare seems to be such a huge focus for the future and for Magic Leap, what are you doing to support the industry in its transformation journey? What are you doing to support the industry in its transformation journey?
Oh, sorry. Well, what we're doing is attracting as many developers and ISVs to the platform as possible. That then will show real ROI with this technology, and then that will move over into other industries going forward, and then eventually into the consumer side, which is really, that will be the point of mass market adoption for this technology.
Absolutely. And can you tell us a little bit more about Magic Leap's early access program?
Yeah, so we have launched a program to get these devices into the hands of our customers right now. Those customers are giving us feedback. There's a high iteration on that feedback so that we can solidify a true enterprise device. These devices have to fit into the customer's existing IT infrastructure, for instance. So it's been a great learning cycle. We have several healthcare companies in there. We've got companies that'll be using it in a variety of ways. For instance, Cisco's WebEx hologram, they're bringing that solution to the Magic Leap platform. In fact, they're here at the Leap conference. If you go to their booth, you can see a video of that. And the feedback's just been awesome, and that'll lead up to our general availability of the device in mid-2022.
Amazing. And can you share some of the names of the companies in your EAP and what other partners that are critical to success?
Yeah, so I mentioned CentiR, that is one of them, and Brain Lab is another one. We have another company named SyncThink, and they are focused on the wellness of the brain. So for instance, if an athlete has a suspected concussion, they can very quickly assess whether the athlete needs to stop play and seek medical attention, and they do that because of the eye tracking that we have in the device. We're tracking the movement of your eyes, and that's an input to their solution. We have another customer called Heru, and they have done a very disruptive thing. They've basically used those same cameras that we use to track your eyes, and they can do a vision test in a very simple way, very quickly, as accurate as the big standalone machines in your optometrist's office. And so that's going to change the delivery of visual exams. You think about it, we can really democratize them. You don't have to go seek a doctor's office. We might have these in pharmacies, and you could put them on your eyes and very quickly do an exam and start treatment as quickly as possible. It'll very much be a democratization of the delivery of that kind of a test.
No, absolutely, and I cannot wait to use that technology when it comes available. And what are some of the other industries beyond healthcare that are likely to benefit from this technology?
Well, you know, I think if you think about these early programs that we have in healthcare, manufacturing, and public sector, one of the threads across all of them is training, and just the delivery of training. That will definitely spread beyond into other, in a variety of other companies. We had, for instance, Farmers Insurance during COVID wanted to continue to train their claims adjusters, and they did so via the Magic Leap headsets. They were able to take their distributed workforce and bring them up to speed by simulating what would have happened in a training classroom. But when you think about that, there's quite a sustainability factor here. No longer do training programs have to fly everybody in and put them up in hotels and feed them for several weeks. But the new employees can be trained wherever they are in a more comfortable environment, but with the exact same images in front of them. And I think that alone will change the delivery of training, but there's, you know, reduction of expenses, and also it's a type of training that you can go back to again and again. Oftentimes employees are trained up front on a device that might not break for a year. Mm-hmm. And so the ability to refresh by just putting the headset back on, now you have the broken device in front of you, you can do a quick refresh and walk through the steps of maintenance. And I think it has an ability to democratize our frontline workers' access to digital tools as well. They generally don't have a PC back at their desk like you and I do. Yeah. But now we're basically allowing them a PC on their eyes, and their hands are free to do the job, and that'll change the way that they can deliver services in their specific roles.
Wow, that is so impressive. And just finally, just a quick question for you. How can I get a Magic Leap too? I'm kidding, but I'm not really. And since the headset becomes widely available in the next coming months, what's next for Magic Leap, and how do you envision the company evolving in the next 5 years?
Well, the headset will be available to you, Nicole, mid-year. We'll make sure that you get one.
Awesome.
And then I think next step for us is going down that trajectory toward a consumer device eventually. We have all of the capability working today in the product as it is. It's smaller, lighter, faster in Magic Leap 2, and we just have to take that another notch down, and then we'll have the glasses like you have.
Awesome, amazing. So Magic Leap and the Magic Leap 2, we're looking forward to what's coming ahead in the next coming months, and I've learned so much from this conversation, as I'm sure the rest of the audience has. So thank you so much, Peggy, for the wonderful conversation, and let's give her a hand.
Thank you, Nicole.